Excellencies, honorable ministers, dear colleagues and friends, polluting energy sources are driving the climate crisis, bringing extreme weather, spreading infectious diseases, and threatening to destroy low-lying communities. The COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the critical link between energy and health, from maintaining the cold chain for vaccines to operating vital medical equipment. Access to electricity can mean the difference between life and death. And yet, billions of people are still served by healthcare facilities without power and rely on dirty energy at home. Last year, the High-Level Coalition on Health and Energy unanimously endorsed a strategic roadmap laying out clear priority actions. First, dramatically increase investment in electrifying healthcare facilities and in clean cooking. Second, provide the necessary resources to design and implement clean energy plans tailored to the needs of the health sector. And third, develop policy and finance schemes to unlock the potential of clean energy solutions and to address the health sector needs. At COP26, over 50 countries committed to new initiatives to build more climate resilient and environmentally sustainable health systems. This too is an important step. WHO stands ready to work with all of you to make the planet and its people healthier and safer. Shukran jazilan. I thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Tedros, for taking the time to address us and for that incredibly important address. As Dr. Tedros so eloquently noted in his address, the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the critical link between energy systems and health systems. As I said, I'm joined here live in Dubai at the very impressive, very beautiful Dubai Expo site with His Excellency Francesco La Camera, the Director General of the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA. Francesco, Your Excellency, it's such a pleasure to see you. Thank you very much for joining me today.
My pleasure, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Your Excellency, IRENA is the global voice for renewables, and in this way, it is the strongest advocate for the global transition to clean, climate-friendly energy systems. So I wanted to open up the discussion today by asking you, what role do renewables play in this critical decade of action, where we're seeking to really push forward and seek to achieve the goals of the SDGs, but also the Paris Climate Agreement goals?
Our task is to inform, working with the membership, try to attract and establish partnership also with the private world, and trying to make a solid link between our knowledge-based exercise with the direct intervention on the ground. We all know that this decade, and now is the last 8 years of this decade, they will be decisive in understanding if the energy system will be figured out in line for achieving the Paris Agreement goals in 2050. So we know that the 2030 will say yes or not in our capacity to be coherent with the achievement of the Paris Agreement. In the same time, it also will give us the 2030 if we will be ready to achieve sustainable development goals that are all linked in some way with energy. And when we talk about access to energy, we are still say that there is a lot of people that is without the basic electricity energy services. We have heard now from Tedros how important this could be in the Nexus with health and other. So we need to build a system that could be more resilient. Look at the experience over these last weeks or months, that it could be cleaner, to be aligned with the Paris Agreement, that could be offer opportunity for development for the poorest country in the world and provide a safer and sustainable development for all.
Thank you so much. Let's dig into that a little bit more. So as you said, Your Excellency, and as we heard Dr. Tedros discuss in his keynote, as we push towards universal access to energy and universal access to healthcare by 2030, over 1 billion people today rely on healthcare facilities that simply do not have access to electricity. So can you talk to us in a little bit more detail about the solutions that renewables play, and in particular off-grid and decentralized renewables in closing this divide, but particularly today, if we can reflect on the ongoing pandemic and the drive to vaccinate more and more individuals from COVID-19, particularly those in developing countries?
This is a very important question because make clear to us how the energy transformation and moving to a cleaner energy system could mean also a fairer and having less inequality in the world. It's unacceptable, as been said by Tedros. Still, we have more than 1 billion and 200 million people that are without clean cooking. We have supposed to be in 2030 having full access to energy. We are not there. We register some progress, but we are very far from that. And this brings us to the Nexus with health. We have 120,000 say hospitals, a place where we need to provide energy for healthcare. But the fact is that today 60% of this hospital in 46 countries, medium and low medium income, they are not the energy they need for saving provider servicing. What we are doing as Arena, we are trying to understand what could be the solution. We have started to work in a few pilot cases in Burkina Faso. We are very close to present our results in Mali, in Saint Tome and Principe. And what appears evident is that will be needed not much to make what is needed. For example, for Burkina Faso, we have assessed for 180 centers. That's how this could be reliable from an energy point of view. And this will cost less than $40 million to this kind of exercise. So I think that we can provide with this pilot study enough elements where we can really try to fill the gap in this country, but also for all other countries that need assistance on that.
Absolutely. I think there's a ton of work ahead, but we're obviously in excellent hands with yourself and Your Excellency. It seems like an age ago now, but I think less than 8 weeks ago, you and I were in Glasgow at the historic COP26 climate conference. In Glasgow, as Dr. Tedros also mentioned, over 50 countries committed to new initiatives that hope to build more climate resilient and environmentally sustainable health system. And of course, there's the work that you mentioned right now with Irina. Looking forward in the UAE, as I'm sure you know, we are absolutely honored and thrilled to be hosting the COP28 climate conference in 2023. So as we look ahead first to Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt later this year, and then to Abu Dhabi, I wanted to just ask, what is the key message that you would have for policymakers in this critical decade of action?
The message is very clear from my point of view, and it's the message that we try to spread out in our General Assembly that took place in the last 2 days. So last year we have 2 very important gatherings. You mentioned the COP26. There has been also the high-level dialogue on energy convened by the Secretary General. And there we have assisted to many pledges and commitments. We have assisted to the raising of ambition in the NDCs that have been presented to Glasgow. But now there is no time anymore for negotiation. There is no time anymore for that kind of exercise. We have to put in place measures, intervention that transform in reality the commitment. So I strongly hope that these 2 COP the first African COP, and then the UAE COP may move the attention of the government to the implementation, trying to understand exactly where the barriers are, to showcase the good case, and so insisting that now is time for action and we have no time.
Your Excellency, I think you can count on the UAE most certainly to make it a priority to turn pledges into actions, and we're so glad to count on you as always, and Irina as a trusted partner. We're at time, but it's always a delight and an honor to see you and to speak with you. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much to our audience for joining us. Please do stay tuned for the rest of the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week agenda. I hope you and your families are staying safe, and I very much hope that we can welcome you to the beautiful Dubai Expo 2020 as we near our final months here. Thank you so much.